All right, so I'm going to set my timer. You can see my timer. Well, it's upside down, but I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. It'll end in 10 minutes. But I'll keep every minute, I'm going to change a movement that we're doing. They're all going to be on the floor and I'll do them first. Always do stuff to the level that you can do things at when you're there, because yesterday doesn't matter and tomorrow doesn't matter. Where you are starting from now is where you're going to start from. And then the second thing is take your time. I realize that some of the movements are going to be, for me, from your point of view, very still, because the first movement we're going to do is just breathe and everything's going to last for a minute. So realize I'll let you know when a minute is up and you'll be able to move on to the next thing. Every movement that we've done is something that you've probably done before in just simplicity. So I'll call out the movement and then we'll just move into that. Just keep moving through that movement. If you would like to make it bigger or make it smaller, let yourself do that as well. Okay, so let's get down on the ground. If you want to do a baseline move to begin with, just to give yourself some awareness of the after, go ahead and do so. Baseline move can be anything from turning your head right to left, reaching down and touching your toes, something like that, something simple and repeatable. Do that if you would like as well. So we're going to get to the ground. Lower yourself back gently onto the ground. I'm going to move my ponytail because for sure, if your ponytail or anything around your head is kind of in the way, then it's going to change the way your neck is going to be. And of course, if that changes that, it's going to change the way your pelvis. Remember, what your head does, your pelvis is also interacting with. What your hips do affects your head. So we are not just that we're one system, but definitely parts of our body affect the other parts. So starting with just some conscious nasal breathing, start with your tongue at the roof of your mouth, like you just swallowed something. And you'll have your mouth closed and try to just breathe through your nose. I will speak somewhat through this breathing, so it doesn't just feel like dead air for 1 minute. So you're ready? Take a big deep breath, exhale it out, and let's start that timer. And just allow your arms to drop to your sides. I've got my knees bent to begin with. You can have your legs straight if you want. For me, this is more comfortable right now. If you'd like to put your hands on your belly to encourage that reciprocal information. So your hands are touching your belly as your belly is breathing. And then you're feeling the pressure of your hands against your ribs to give information back. You could also move your hands, one at your sternum, at your heart, one at your belly, or just have your hands down by your side if you choose. Always an encouragement not to touch something external, like maybe a roller or block or chair. Just move things out of the way as best you can. Now, studies have fully shown that really it takes about 10 breaths to reset the nervous system to a more calm state. And in a minute, which we just hit, is things just get a little bit more relaxed. So now let's begin with our eye movements. Look up towards your eyebrows, look down towards your nose. We'll do that for a couple of breaths. Continue to breathe through a closed mouth. And then add your head as you can. Tuck your chin in, lift your chin up, tuck your chin in, lift your chin up. If it's comfortable, bring your head up, eyes back, head back, tuck your chin in and roll. Eyes back, tuck your chin in and roll. Any way you'd like to roll up comfortably, make sure you're not moving into pain. And then we'll finish here looking left now, and we're just looking right. So we're activating our vestibular system to try to find the balancing of our body and what's working well and what seems to be falling behind a little bit. Just moving your eyes and then let your head follow a very simple motion of just head turns. Remember, your eyes are leading your head, and then your head will eventually then lead your body. If you want to pick your head up, look, and turn. You're getting a big thunderstorm. I know this is going to be asyncratic at one point, but we're getting a thunderstorm here from kind of that Hurricane Joe that's coming up. I believe it's Joe. Nice and simple. Remember, simple isn't necessarily easy or not beneficial. Simple is just simple. So now we're on our 3rd minute, moving into our 4th, keeping your head still if you'd like. Just begin to let your knees drop from right to left. Kind of think of this as a windshield wiper. I like having my legs a little bit wider. That keeps me in a better range of motion so I can have a little bit more space. You can take your legs as far as is comfortable to the floor. But again, still working with the mouth closed, tongue against the roof of the mouth, breathing through your nose. You can move your eyes with your body. So eyes center, eyes look, head looks if you want. You can always add eye and head movements, linking all systems together. Now we're moving into the next minute. Bring those knees one at a time up into the chest as is comfortable. And we're going to drop from side to side. Nice and simple, no big movements. Go as low as you're comfortable, but the focus is not finding the stretch. The focus is trying to find just that rocking pattern. So you can drop, pause, lift a knee up, let the other knee follow. And now you can kind of feel yourself scooting down your mat a little bit. Just be aware of that. You can pause it if you want or not, or only be here for another 15 seconds before we move on. You may feel some pulling in your shoulders, but you might define as stretching, which is whatever you want to call it. Okay. Just lower yourself for a minute. I'm readjusting myself just for a moment. Bring my knees back up. Take my hands to the outside of my knees, and I'm going to begin a simple dead bug. You can always make this dead bug more challenging by doing a couple of different things. Just moving your eyes more, or you can extend the leg out instead of lowering down to the ground. You can also lift your head up, creating more tension for this midline of the body. You can lower your legs from the top, or you can maintain that nice simple drop of the foot. Notice my arms aren't going to the floor because I want to maintain the control of my movement. Nice and simple motion. Good. 1 or 2 more each side to finish out our minute. Good. And then let's lower the arms down to the sides. Arms go wide or like a T. And then you're going to extend your legs out as it's comfortable. I'm going to take my arms now up and over my head, pick my head up for upper body segmental roll. So just roll back. Remember, when we're moving segmentally, you're not trying to overwork the body. Move your body as best you can, leading with your eyes, followed with your head, moving into the body. Now I'm moving pretty much straight across the midline of my body. But you can also take your hand into another position. I'm moving up towards maybe 10 o'clock on one side and then up towards 2 o'clock on the other side. So just let your body lead into different positions that feel comfortable, reaching down and across. Good. Go ahead and pause. Let's do the lower half of the body. Now, doing this on your own, you're more than welcome to do the lower half first and then the upper half. I just did the upper half first. Breathing. Tongue against the roof of the mouth, mouth closed. If you notice your mouth is kind of open, pause, slow the movement down a little bit and see if you can keep it closed when your movement goes slower. One more. Last one on this side. And then bring those legs back in so your feet are flat. Good. Take your arms back to your side. Take your arms then over your head, reach. Take a nice long deep breath. Exhale, lower your hands back to your sides. Good. Bring your right knee and left knee back up to a tabletop position. Hold the knees into your chest. Look to your left and then roll to your left. Look up towards the sky and then look to your right and roll to the right. Look up and come center. Look over, look up and center and over. I'm looking behind me as best I can. If this isn't comfortable for you, that's no worries. And then we're going to pause after this last roll. And then back up. Lower your right foot and left foot back to the ground again. And just settle. We'll spend the last minute one more time in just a rested position, breathing. Again, hands may on your belly, chest, or just by your sides. Ten minutes is up. From here, bring your right knee into your chest. Hopefully that felt very nice and very restorative. Just giving yourself a linking to all the movements of your body. And now we're just going to move into some simple, slow stretches. Right knee comes into the chest. I'm not trying to compress my lower back, not trying to compress my knees, just alternating move. Now, of course, you may not be functionally in any pain, or this stretch may feel very simple, but I want you to just feel kind of where what's moving in the body. Notice when you bring your right knee in, what's happening. You can do this without even holding on to the leg if you want. Just bring your knee into your chest. So it's a simple walking pattern. You can take that leg all the way from the ground if you want to. Bring your knee in and out. One leg. You can alternate the legs if you want to, which we'll do. Let's leave the right foot here now. Bring the left knee into the chest, no arms, just extending and straightening the leg. So just allowing the body to go through its ranges of motion can be very powerful because we tend to move in the same positions all the time without ranges of motion or without kind of awareness. Let's extend both legs out farther away from the midline and then draw the right knee into the chest and down, and then draw the left knee into the chest and down. Now notice if there's any clicking or popping, you can slide the foot in instead. Remember, we're not trying to move into pain. As soon as we move into pain, we tend to shut the nervous system and put it in more of a fight or flight system. One more time, right leg and left. And then again, let's extend our legs all the way out. Take your arms all the way overhead. Sink your chin into your body and just get long in two directions. Chin in, neck long from the back side. Take a nice long deep breath in again. Even shrug your shoulders and reach. And then lower your arms back to your side. Let's slide our right leg and left leg in. We're going to shift our hips off and roll to our side and come into all fours. Hands and knees, I'm going to have my hands start up slightly in front of me. My shoulders are back, my weight is slightly back, and I'm just going to round my back gently. And then come to an extended position, but not really an arched position. Hold the belly in. So I'm not coming into a really deep cat-cow. My arms are a little far out in front of me. My knees are underneath me where it's stable. But I'm purposely just allowing my spine to move without coming into a very big extension and flexion. Lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest, dropping the head, pulling the ribs, tucking the tailbone. And again, feeling the body move from a point of flexion and extension, but also in segmentation. One more time, head down, ribs in, tailbone, and then lift the tailbone, lift the head and chest. Let's sit back to the heels with the arms out. Go where you can go. If you need to restart that again, starting back up, toes pointed back as that's comfortable, and then just feel the body sink into the heels. And then I'm just kind of wiggling side to side, just to kind of find a little bit more space, get those knees a little bit more ready for movement or flexion, and then let the head drop as it's comfortable. Breathe. To the length of the hands to the hips. Look forward, see if you can pull the hips away from the hands a little bit further. Of course, a very, in a sense, gentle movement or just some extension of the upper back. Take a deep breath, inhale and exhale. Let's slide the hands back in. Return to an all fours position. Breathe, and then let's go into a bird dog. Reach out, right arm and left leg. Hold, lift that chest, reach those arms out in opposition. So we're working the diagonals of the body for stability. And of course, then to move into control. Are your elbows straight? Is your knee straight? Are your hands reaching forward, or can you turn the arm into more of a neutral position? Switch sides, reach out, left arm, right leg, and hold. And again, I'm holding so I can notice things a little bit better. That's the beauty of kind of a slower practice, is just finding those spots that maybe you rush past in movement or mobility, or just regular typical fitness. Drop down. Big question is always, what is this working? Why are we doing this? Partly it's just to notice. It's okay that you don't have a complete answer for every movement. And then down. So you're going to reach out with your left arm and right leg. Find that nice long line. Hold. And then lower. On the second side, we're back to the first side again. I'm just going to have you walk your hands a little bit further forward. Extend your left leg. And then roll that left hip up and down. So I'm stabilizing on my right leg. And I'm rotating my hip, actually, of my right leg as I'm lifting my left leg. Now, if that's too much, you can put the foot on the ground, breathing, and we're internally moving that right hip, as well as the left hip too. Watch that the head doesn't drop. Keep the head in line with the spine. Good. And then pause. Extend out the right leg, nice and long body. If you want to be up, you can be up if that's available to you. If you find that you're doing it and then you can't, move back to a more simple posture. Drop that hip in, lift that hip up. So you can feel what's going on in the left hip as well as the right. Try not to sink or fall into the ground as you're doing this. Again, head up as best you can. One more time. And then knees under. Point those toes back again, sit back into your heels, reach those arms out, head down, shin in for the child's pose. Big deep breath. And then look forward. Bring your body forward, extend your legs back. Nice and low, nice and long. Now, if this is too much on a nice high extended spine, you could bring your arms out wider or further forward if you need to. Holding yourself in a position that works best for you, that you can maintain through the entire movement. And we do things about 8 or 10 times. Watch that the shoulders are away from your ears as best you can. And lift the chest away from the ground a little bit more. And then lower it back into the ground. Inhale and lift and lower. Inhale and lift and lower. 2 more. Lift and lower. And last time, lift, hold up, look over your right shoulder or to your right shoulder, up and over and to your left shoulder. As you can, notice if you're just looking to the ground, can you look up to the sky? Can you really lift that chin? You can feel this movement into the middle of the back. If you want to go now, you feel like you have more ability for range of motion, bring those arms in. If you feel uncomfortable, once you get there, go back to a position that feels more balanced for you. One more time, each side. And then hold center. Let's bring those arms up and over our head. And just like the segmental rolls on our stomach, or while we are on our back, we're going to do on our stomach. So lift your head up, take your right arm over, and just open that back and chest. And then reach that right arm back and roll it back to the ground. Now, see that I'm not just picking my head up or moving my arm without my head. I'm just rolling, opening. My left leg is staying kind of there, and I roll to my back. And then almost like a swimming move, I come back. Look over your right shoulder, roll, and go as far as is comfortable. You can use this right leg to kind of stabilize you, or once you pick the head up, you can drop your head to your arm. And then roll back. Pick your head up, look at your hand if it's comfortable. And then roll back. And then look up and roll back. And you may notice something about yourself. Maybe you move a little bit more fluidly to your right side as opposed to your left. Maybe you move more at the beginning and then you get caught up in some spot, or vice versa. As you let gravity take hold, you move with a little bit more fluidity, but not pain. And just because the movement doesn't look perfect, remember, it's not a problem, because it's not about perfection. It's about finding where your body moves best. And just because to one person it doesn't look great, doesn't mean it doesn't feel great to you. So don't worry too much about the perfection of the movement. Find the movement to be just a fluid movement. Arms go back up. Let's move the legs. Right leg up and over. Now you don't have to move your head. On left leg. And notice we didn't do a lot of movements with I'm sorry, I'm kind of distracted in my head. So I've taken a movement from a movement that's simple, like a head nod, to a head turn, to like a rocking type position or tucked position, and then a rolled position. Allowing my body or giving my body time to move. Just like when you learn how to move as you're young, you don't do all movements at the same time. You learn progressively how to move. And give yourself that same ability when you're trying to find mobility and stillness too. Bring your head back to center, head down, just laying on your stomach. Take a big deep breath. and settle yourself into your mat. If it's not comfortable to have your arms out in front, you can make a pillow. Couple nice long deep breaths. And then let's bring those hands back underneath the shoulders again. Push yourself up. Good. And then let's sit back into a child's type pose. Sit back nice and long. Big deep breath. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders, sitting up nice and tall. Good. And then let's nod here. Head down, chin in. We're going to get into another rotational movement from this type of position. Up and look down. So again, try to do a movement in a held position, like just breathing. Then a head nod, then a head turn, then actively giving my body more options to move. And then we're going to move the hands forward and look over the right shoulder and then over the left. Now, sitting back this far into your knees isn't available to you. You can do this whole thing from your hands and knees, or from another seated position is totally fine. Feel that movement around the rib wall. Remember, seeing what you see is important visually, but seeing what the body is feeling or seeing is super important as well. Good. Pause. Take your right hand, reach through. Look up to your left shoulder as it's comfortable. Look back to your right shoulder. Push the left hand down and reach up and hold. Exhale. Look through. Inhale, exhale, and reach up. And look through. And look up. One more time. Look through. And look up. Hand down. Easy. Left arm reaches through. Again, if you need to readjust from this position, because the knees don't like it, hips don't like it, feet don't like it, change your position. You can be from all fours. You can really do this. Keep moving in the way when you're moving. I'm not asking you to move. You can do this here and down and here. It's a different position for sure, but you can move without your knees on the ground. Coming back to the original position that I was just in. Good. Sitting back and then again reaching up and reaching through. Two more times. Reach up and through. And last time. Reach up and through. Good. Come into all fours. Round the back again. Notice what you notice. Lift the tailbone. Lift the chest. Good. So I'm going to take from my all fours position, I'm going to lift my leg up and then allow myself to roll slowly. Take my hand down and then go back into position. Pick my other leg up, look over. So I'm still kind of moving my thoracic rotation by moving it from my lower half of the body. Pause. Bring my leg up, rotate, look down, or even keep the head down. Breathing, look up and rotate up, look down and come down. And last time on this side, pick that leg up, rotate and down. Let's just sit one more time back into child's pose. Reach those arms out nice and long. Take a big deep breath. And just settle back into your hips. Walk your hands under your shoulders and come up. Good. Just sitting nice and tall. If you have a block or a bolster to sit on, go ahead and do so. If it's comfortable, sit into all four or sit into a cross-legged position, nice and tall. And then for another couple of nice long deep breaths, we'll just breathe, mouth closed, tongue against the roof of the mouth. Drop your chin to your sternum, look down, bring your eyes up and head up, look up. Your head center, look over your right shoulder, turn to your right. Look center, look over your left shoulder, turn to your left. And move back to center. Take your arms up and overhead reach. Exhale down. I really think of this movement as just a thankful movement, a grateful movement, a movement that opens the whole upper body up, finishing up. No matter what we did, we find ourselves back into a middle position, giving ourselves understanding, teaching ourselves about some movement, and being thankful for all of it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies. I hope that you have a fantastic day. Give yourself the opportunity to move well and move different, slowly or quickly. Go for a walk, whatever works to give you the opportunity to change your focus, to change your breath, and give you some new movement.